Hey everybody, it's Ryan with Pi Records, and I'm here with Josh Graham from Altered State of Reverb, the record label, and big fan of surf music. How you doing, Josh?
I'm great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem. I wanna talk about where you're from first. You're based out of DC, and you're a surf rock label.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you got started and why you chose surf, or it chose you, or however you would like to put it.
I think it chose me. I'll default to that position. Um, I had always been a fan off and on, but then in the last few years realized that there was a real scene that's still going on. It was I didn't know about it. I had checked out a couple bands, went to some shows, and looked online and found a whole bunch of bands in the region, in this part of the country, in the U.S. and in the world out there, doing some really interesting things musically, building on the turf and putting their own spin on it and their own cultural influences on it. Um, so got to know a bunch of bands, started the Instagram to try to connect more people with all this, and got to meet a lot of great people. And it kind of just grew from there.
Cool. So let's talk about how you started the label. What sparked that fire to just say, you know what, I think I want to start putting bands out.
The first release was last summer, actually. The Satopians, you could see it right here. They were the first ones to that I was talking with. I had done some flyers and promos for them. So when they said, we have an album we're almost finished with, we're going to put it out, can you help us? And at that point, it was the question of, what capacity to help put it out. And then we just thought, well, I'm gonna be a label and put this out for you guys, and we're gonna partner and try to promote this together.
That's great. So you've been working with a bunch of bands. You got a big release coming out, or that just came out with the Neptunas.
Yes, yes,
So
it's been very well received. Thank you everyone who bought it to support us and support the Neptunas. They really poured their heart into this record, and with Danny Amos from the Los Straitjackets producing it, it's really something special. So we're really proud to put that out. But yeah, it's that's been a very big release.
now, what is the history about the Neptunas? They were around in the '90s. How did you get together with them, and how did you find out they were getting back together, and what's the story behind that?
They started in the late '90s, yeah, and then went through a little bit of they added a new drummer. It's not the original drummer, but then they toured around a little bit here and there, Southern California band, and then they actually got contacted by the Breeders sometime in the early 2000s, I believe, to be on their tour with them. So that kind of brought them back together. And I think ever since that happened, they said, well, let's, they do a couple shows a year. Then they talked about doing an album. They did the Wildo Fest a couple years ago in Mexico City, and they love surf music in Mexico City. I mean, it's huge down there. So that really got them excited and said, let's get back in the studio and do this and get another album together.
Great.
They had recorded and had it mastered, but again, through the website, they actually reached out to me. It was Laura, the drummer, who contacted me, and we had talked for a while. It's a lot of coordination, a lot of back and forth. Everyone's doing this as a side thing. Everyone has full jobs. So it took a little while to get everyone on board, but, we would do Zoom calls like this and just try to discuss this and figure what we wanted to do, when we wanted to do it, and executing the whole thing. So just a lot of calls and communication.
It's great. I just spoke with um, Devin from the Tourmaliners, and
Uh-huh.
they put out a great full length, but they're putting out something special with you. You want to talk about
Yes.
that?
It will be, yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be our first vinyl release. It's went with the colored vinyl. We're calling it Winter White Vinyl since it's a Christmas album. And that should be out end of the month. We're going to be taking pre-orders soon. CDs are out; they're ready to go. But the vinyl is going to be really nice. Looking forward to that, and I think that's just going to be a really nice piece for vinyl collectors and just enthusiasts of surf music. Um, it's got a nice just holiday look to the whole thing, with the coloring, the packaging and everything like
The the
that.
red the red
And
center label.
the Tourmaliners really did some great songs. What's that?
The red center label.
Yeah, yeah. So they did a really great job on that. I think people are really going to enjoy their take on these classic Christmas songs, but with a surf twist, and really almost doing some mashups with songs that we know as traditional surf. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to listen to it. You sent us some in the mail. We'll be doing promo videos for, and
Cool.
I always loved like the Brian Setzer and Surf um, Christmas related albums. It's just something more pleasurable about listening to those for me.
Yeah. And it just, when we got the test presses, it just had such a warm feeling to it. You put it on and it felt like Christmas, and that was a couple weeks ago and it was still warm out. So I can't wait for everyone to get this one. It's going to be great.
It's awesome. I'm really excited to meet you and the host of bands you have on your label. Um, Tell me about some of the bands you may be talking, possibly put out something with, or other bands that I may have missed on your label.
Well, after October here, which we just we're in the midst of putting out a couple. I'll get back to that. But in November, the Kaputniks from Canada are putting out a EP. They're going to do one in November, and then I think another one in probably about February. And their take on surf is the spy sound, the secret agent kind of. They go for this dark Cold War era kind of feel. They're a lot of fun. So that their stuff is yeah, definitely spy uh, oriented. But that'll be coming out mid of November. I'm not sure the exact date yet. We're still finalizing cover art and stuff like that. And then also in November, the Satopians, back to the first group I signed. They're going to have an EP out. I just got the unmastered versions to listen to on that, and they really brought a little bit of a more aggressive sound to it this time. I think people are really going to like it. It's still Satopians, but they kicked it up a little bit. So I'm excited. So those two releases. But then this month just put out Girl Over Planet with Mod Monster Mania and Rolling with the Creeps, which are our kind of Halloween offerings for everyone. I think they're so much fun. Um, I think just for fun, I took the opening to the Munsters and synced it up with that one of those songs, and it was like, yeah, it works. It's perfect. It just gives you a good Halloween party feel. So everyone put that on your Halloween party playlist because it definitely sets the mood.
So
Um, good.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there were those two. Also, I'm helping out a group called the Mysterics. They're brand new, pretty much. I have a single just to promote them on my website. We just have that as a freebie giveaway. But I'll be talking to them soon, and I look forward to doing something with them. I think they're going to have a lot of good stuff on the horizon.
That's really cool. What interests me most about the bands that are on your label is the diversity. There's always a
Hmm.
surf element, but there's always a huge mixture of different styles of music that go along, especially with the tourmaliners. Um,
Yeah.
is that something that kind of draws you to the bands that you sign?
It does. Like I said, I like when you can really hear their own spin they put on their brand of surf music. I like that it's still a regional music that hasn't become the same all over the place. So yeah, that's a big part of it. And just how much they're into it and how much they get what I'm trying to do as much as I'm into what they're doing. It really is a partnership. We're trying to help each other out. All the bands try to help each other out. They in turn help the label. I help them. So it's just a good. I'm looking for good working relationship and people who just want to put out cool music. And if we can have some cool art go along with it, that's even better.
That's awesome. So what is the next thing your label is working on? Are you working on partnering up with any other labels, or I know you said you're in marketing when
I'm
you
always I'm always open to. Yeah, I'm always open to work with another label if need be. There's nothing planned right now. It's all just my own releases. I think in the coming year we're going to do some compilations. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Um, I mentioned Mexico, but another just regional huge supporter of surf music is just about every country in South America, and they are underrepresented in surf and really in a lot of music. But there's some good bands out there, and there's some other labels really supporting them. But honestly, there's enough to do a couple volumes of just a great comp of all these bands, and even within South America, they have their own little twist on things, their own little take on it from their region. So I really like that. There are one or two bands from the region now that I've worked with, but I'd like to see that as be something to come out next year. Working on that. And then we'll see what else. I think it's too far ahead yet to really know for sure, but we're planning some fun stuff. I think along with the regular releases, everyone's going to love. We like to keep a lot of surprises and keep things
Yeah.
interesting. So we'll see what's in store.
So during the pandemic, I've been asking everybody what they've done with the, I want to say, the quarantine, the downtime. A lot of people have
Hmm.
been doing very creative things, and I always like to hear the stories of what people are working on during quarantine, because we really don't have any other chance to do it. Like, we're all working day jobs, and but this kind of
Yeah.
gives you the time to do something creative.
What I do for the bands, any creative promotions or any animations like that, that's a lot of fun. I've really tried to focus on that. Focus on doing the cover. If I do it, that's great. If I find someone, a lot of coordinating, it's it's back and forth. I mean, I've learned there's a lot to it, especially with vinyl. I mean, CDs are one thing, but there's mastering, there's all this stuff. So there's enough details to fill the time.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to use it wisely because no one's doing live shows right now. If that was the case, if we didn't have the pandemic, I might be going a slightly different direction. I might be focusing more on promoting live shows. But for the time being, we're just trying to go with the music and get it out there.
cool. One thing when I spoke to you on the phone that stuck out is something that interests me greatly. that I'd like to learn more about being effective at is the marketing. You have a extensive marketing background, and we both work for NBC, so I saw a kind of connection there, and I was wondering what you do creatively that kind of puts your bands out there and more visible than maybe they can do on their own, like from your marketing background.
Yeah, it's a lot. If you're not a designer and you're just in the band, the whole process of everything from logos to websites to flyers to promotions, it could be daunting. It's a full-time job. The way big labels do it, it's rooms full of people, floors full of people doing this stuff. So I help try them just to polish up what they have and try to work with them, getting in content, whether it's photos or stuff like that, and trying to just put them in the best light, make it look the coolest, and just make it look fun and interesting. It's something that someone's going to stop and actually read as they're scrolling through their feed of whatever social media.
So I was talking to Frankie from the Volcanics, and he mentioned you, and
Oh yeah.
said he sent a couple of bands your way, and I saw you sent a couple of bands my way. I'm in the process of listening to different things, but it's really cool to see how the community all ties in with each other. There's no egos or anything. Everybody's just out to help each other. You want to talk about the community a little bit?
I mean, I can start with Frankie. He's such a nice guy. I met him once at a show when he was here in Baltimore with the with his band, and just talked afterwards. They had a great show, and no frills. They were just doing their little West Coast leg of the tour, and said that, like, yeah, hopefully if there's enough in the tip jar, we can get a flight home. It was just that kind of a guys in a van doing this. So we stayed in touch, and he's given me some leads, and I have some of his CDs I sell on my site, and he led me to a couple other people, and it's really grown from there. I've gotten known so many people in this. It's spaced out, but it's a tight-knit community.
Yeah, absolutely. There's do you find in Europe and Russia those bands are spoken for over in the States? Have you contacted anybody over there? Are you talking with anybody over there?
Well, Girl Over Planet, they're from Russia. And there was a couple other bands that I did some promotions for out of St. Petersburg. But then there's a few bands in Italy. Surfinato Tiki Squad, which put out their first release earlier this year. They're from Italy. So I mean, to the extent that music not made in America doesn't really get played, but when it's surf, it almost doesn't matter. You don't have the language barrier, for one, and it's still the same great sound that we're used to, just seeing what they do differently with it. So I like to bring bands from far away into the small consciousness of the small surf scene.
So at the beginning, we were talking about kind of being into the surf scene and kind of rediscovering it. What draws you to this type of music?
I think that, and I've said this before, but the when you go to a surf show, it's the closest thing to what I remember back in high school and college days, when people who are into punk or hardcore or any kind of alternative scene in their own town would be able to go to shows and meet people from a few towns away or different parts of the state, and just and back then you didn't have the luxury of the internet. So now you can talk with people and find them on social media, but this is the closest scene to where everyone's open and friendly, and normally has a lot of time to talk to you and is happy to talk to you. So I think that's what I really like about when we can go to shows again, but it carries over even into talking with people online.
That's great. Is there anything before we wrap up that you want to talk about or mention that I haven't brought up?
I'm just sorry, I'm blanking out now. I don't know if we can do any edits here. um, let's see. All right. Well, can you edit this or no? Sorry, I stumble in here.
We'll just do it straight. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't
Uh,
know. Open-ended. You kind of caught me there.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, if there's nothing else you'd like to add, I'll just wish you a good night and thank you very much for your time. And
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you. And and even on the phone the other day when we talked, I thought this was going to be a really good interview.
All right.
All right, you have a good day.
Okay. Thank you.